Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Hello world. Shooting it raw. Shooting it raw with me, your host, Ran El Fassi. Okay, in the background, if you pay attention, you're going to hear some cars going back and forth. I'm recording from this room in Vancouver, North Van. This week has been one of the most challenging weeks in my life, for sure. And I didn't have I have a few guests lined up for the podcast coming up, which are going to be great. But for this week, I thought, well, the podcast is a reflection of me. So the first part of this is just going to me maybe give a feeling of where I am, and then maybe a tool that you can use to help you get some focus and some direction. It's not something I've come up with. Somebody pointed out to me. I did it, and it actually really helped a lot. And the second part of the podcast is I'm going to do a little read-through of the story that I wrote after the 2004 tsunami. Because one of the listeners said, hey, listen, it'd be great if we could just listen to the story instead of only having to read it. So I'll give it a read-through later. That's called Lesson 6. But first, a few words about where I am in my life and a tool that you can use to hopefully guide you. Because the premise of the podcast is we only have one life. How do we make every second count? Now, this week, just yesterday, in fact, I called the Vancouver crisis line because I was in a full-on crisis. And there's been so much going on in my life, and it's been so emotionally turbulent that I needed some help. And so I reached out, and the very kind woman on the other side of the phone, she's like, "Oh, so tell me about yourself. Like, what motivates you and everything." And I said, "Well, I've got tears running down my face. I'm like, actually, believe it or not, I have a podcast where I talk to people about how do we make every second count." So that's in the background while I'm on the phone with this, which I don't know if she was a counselor or if she was a social worker, but so one of the tools that somebody suggested, and I'll describe it now, is huge. Some people are gonna be like, yeah, I know this. Okay, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You essentially write a kind of a goal board. So on a large piece of paper, whiteboard, on your computer, whatever it is, you essentially map out 5 years of your life with goals. In this case, it's 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. I'll make a photo of mine, of the one I produced, and I'll put that up with this episode. What you do is you basically work backwards, right? So let's say one of your goals is I want to have property on some distant island, but that seems very, very far away from now. So you write it down in however, you can be ambitious or don't be ambitious, but say 2027, I want to have a property on this island. In my case, I wrote in 2027, well, first of all, my daughter will be 16 years old. I wanted to have a close, loving, amazing relationship with my wife, Delian. So a bit of foreshadowing there. For my company, Service Detox Consulting, to have 50 clients. For the podcast, to have 500,000 followers. For Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to have a purple belt. Like, can I get a purple belt within 5 years? I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. And then you do it for 2026. And then you do it for 2025. And then you do it for 2024, and you do it for 2023. And you have to put them on paper or on a board or something, and you have to put them somewhere where you see it. And subconsciously, visibly, you're constantly getting this reminder, this anchor for the goals that you'd like to reach. So for this year, one of the goals is to get a job and get back to Hong Kong, be closer to my family. Maybe get an extra couple of white stripes on my belt, my white belt. Grow the podcast to 1,000 followers. Let's see if we can get 1,000 followers, people. All these things. And of course, love and affection and being a great parent. So that's my little bit of advice for you. How to make every second count is, in my case, I did it because I had to. I was in a crisis moment. And this truly helped me get focus and at least have something concrete that I produced that came out of my head that I can look at for inspiration. So yeah, do it for yourself. A vision board. Make it your own. Make it your own. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it